If you're learning German, you have definitely felt this pain. Where on earth does the verb actually go? One minute you're told it's in second position, the next it's all the way at the end. It really feels like it has a mind of its own. Well, in this explainer, we're going to demystify German sentence structure once and for all.
All right, let's just dive right in. In pretty much every German class, you were probably told one simple golden rule about where to put the verb. It's the first thing we all learn. But, as I'm sure you've figured out by now, it doesn't always seem to work, does it?
Sound familiar? Of course it does. This is the famous position 2 rule. And look, it's a fantastic place to start, but it is absolutely not the complete picture. And if you stick only to this one rule, you're going to end up pretty confused and making some pretty common mistakes.
So let's finally move past that one simple rule. We are going to uncover the elegant logic behind German word order, and I'm going to give you a complete blueprint so you can build your sentences with total confidence from now on.
Okay, first things first. Let's quickly talk about where that position 2 rule is king, and that's in the main clause, or the Hauptsatz. This really is the bedrock of most German sentences you'll make.
So, what's a main clause? It's just a fancy way of saying a sentence that can stand all by itself and make perfect sense. Think of it as just one complete thought. Like, I am learning German. Here's the classic setup you see everywhere. Position 1 has the subject, ich, and then boom, right in position 2, locked in place, is our verb learning.
But what if we want to emphasize when we're learning? We can totally start with heute and just notice what happens, or rather, what doesn't happen. The verb lernen stays firmly planted in position 2. It really is the anchor of the sentence.
And this just hammers the point home. Even if we put the object, Deutsch, at the very front for emphasis, that verb holds its ground. It doesn't matter what's in position 1, the verb is the anchor in position 2.
This anchor rule is so strong it even applies to your basic information questions. A question word like one takes up position 1, and the verb follows immediately after in, you guessed it, position 2.
Okay, so you've got position 2 down, you're feeling confident, but here's where things get interesting. It's time for the first major plot twist. Sometimes the verb gets kicked all the way to the end of its clause. But here's the key. This is not random. It's triggered. This all happens in what we call subordinate clauses, and they're introduced by special connector words. So from now on, when you see a word like weil or wenn, a little alarm bell should go off in your head that says, warning, the verb is heading to the end. Now, what's so great about this slide is you can see the comparisons side by side. On the left, in our normal main clause, lerne is the anchor in position 2. But over on the right, look where that little connector word weil sent it. The verb has traveled all the way to the very end of the line.
Okay, but what if there are two verbs, like when you use can or must? It's actually pretty simple. The verb that's conjugated, that's the one that changes to match the subject, like ich kann or du kannst. That's the one that moves to the end. The other verb just hangs out and waits for it there.
So we've seen the verb in position 2, and we've seen it at the very end. Well, there's only one place left for it to go, the very beginning. Let's look at the final piece of our sentence puzzle, where the verb actually gets to be the star of the show in position 1. And trust me, this isn't complicated at all. There are really just 3 main scenarios you need to remember, where the verb is going to lead the whole sentence. Let's just break them down really quick. First up, any question you can answer with a simple yes or no. Instead of starting with a question word, you lead directly with the verb. Lernst du Deutsch? It's just a super direct and efficient way to ask a question. Second, when you're giving a command, telling someone to do something, you put that verb right at the front, lerne Deutsch. It's clear, it's direct, and it leaves absolutely no room for doubt. And finally, for wishes or those what-if statements, the verb also comes first. This is for situations that aren't real, like saying, if only German were easier. That verb wäre at the start signals that this is a wish, not a statement of fact. So, there you have it. Position 2, the end of the clause, and position 1. It's not just a messy bunch of random rules, is it? It's a coherent framework. Let's put it all together in one simple, powerful blueprint. So, here it is. This is your cheat sheet. For standard statements and W questions, the verb is your anchor in position 2. Got it? For clauses that start with a connector word, it gets kicked to the end. And for yes/no questions and commands, it leads from position 1. That's the whole system right there. So that myth, the one about the verb always being in position 2,
It's officially busted. You now have the complete blueprint, a clear, logical system, not just one simple incomplete rule. So the only question left is, what are you going to say first?